Hello and welcome back to my show. We had some audio issues early, but now they're back. And this is my show, Evening Rust. I'm just going to repeat what I said before because I didn't have any sound. This show is where I go. I'm learning Rust, and I'm going off to this site here, Coding Game, the place with the funny name. It has coding competitions, and I've resolved to solve them all in Rust. Where I was yesterday afternoon is the first program I wrote in Rust. I had this thing print line hello, that's all I did, and the site's been making it fairly easy for me to make some progress without knowing anything about Rust whatsoever, which is, I guess, convenient, but isn't helping me learn too much. We'll get there bit by bit. So I went back through some of the code I wrote, and I took a few notes as to some of the key things from Rust, and I'll keep expanding this cheat sheet, as I'm calling it, as I go on. I have one of these for JavaScript as well for my other stream, because I had a hard time remembering certain things. So we'll have that. And today, let's see how much progress we can make. Yesterday I said we had 14 achievements, and that was very quick. And to level 4, I think we should get to level 5 fairly fast. We're going to go to the practice sections, and I might as well start. And let's see where we're at. Go to practice. And where are my puzzles? Well, let's start with the Mars lander. This seems like the next one. Let's hope there's graphics in this one. Some of them don't have graphics and they're not as much fun. Like the one we did last time yesterday had no graphics. And fortunately it went rather quickly. Okay, this one appears to have graphics of some kind. Alright, something. There's at least something here. Okay, the goal of your program is to safely land the Mars Lander shuttle. The landing ship, which contains the Opportunity rover, Mars Lander, is guided by a program, and right now the failure rate for landing this NASA simulator is unacceptable. Note that it may look like a difficult problem, but in reality the problem is easy to solve. This puzzle is the first level among 3, therefore we need to present you some controls you won't need in order to complete the first level. Okay, so what does this mean? They're going to make it complicated? And the template I have for code, it's parsing in a lot. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff here. I mean, I like the fact they set this up for me initially. I hate the parsing aspect of things. It's really not very much fun reading in from data files, and it's really straightforward. The Rust code makes it look really long, but there's probably a better way, and they probably just have some automated script that sets this out for me. Okay, let's look at the game. We have a limited landing zone. There's a surface. The zone is 700,000 meters wide and 3,000 meters high. For this level, Mars Lander is above the landing zone in a vertical position with no initial speed. Well, that's mighty convenient. We're falling towards a planet with no initial speed. There's a unique area of flat ground on the surface of Mars, which is at least 1,000 meters wide. Okay, so there's only part. Every second, depending on the current flight parameters, blah blah blah, the program must provide the new desired tilt, angle, and thrust power of the Mars Lander. Okay, we have tilt, thrust, minus 90 to 90. Okay, weird angles, that's okay. For this level, you need only to control the thrust power. The tilt angle should be 0. I'm guessing this means the whole level. For landing successful, must be on the flat ground, land in a vertical position. That seems clear enough. Vertical speed must be limited, less than 40 meters per second. That's quite the speed to hit the ground at. Okay. The landing zone is always just okay. I was getting worried here. This seemed like a lot, but it seems like this has greatly simplified it. And so, what do we have to do? What we have to do is game inputs. Each loop, blah, 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 blah. The surface number is not used to draw the surface. We have a lot here. We take the advantage. Coordinates x, y. They said we can ignore x. H speed, we have v speed, fuel. The power of the thrusters falls to 0. Rotate, we need. Thrust the power, okay. And we need 2 rotations. So we can only move, but we can't rotate. We don't need to rotate in this one, apparently. Power is the thrust power, 0 to 0 off, 4 maximum. Please note that each turn the value of the actual power is limited to the value of the previous turn plus minus 1. And they're not going to tell us what thrust power actually is, it appears. So what do we have to do? We have to land safely, but we have no knowledge of Okay, we have this one constraint. The vertical speed has to be, where is that? Less than 40? So all we can do is we can simply, why don't we just say as long as we're above 40, we turn the thruster on. And if we're below 40, we turn it off. That should be okay. So we have a vertical speed. If the speed is greater than, or say greater than or equal to, generally floating points might also do greater or equal to, just in case they have weird integers on here that lines up perfectly. This is in meters per second, can be negative. Did they mean negative going down to the ground? What did it mean? Input vertical speed. Okay, I think they mean negative going to the ground. So we're going to have to say less than equal to minus 40. And the moment we get going too fast, we're going to slow down. And so we're going to have a power here. Why is the power in? Okay, the power's already there. Power equals power plus 1. And there must be a max function. Let's look up this Rust documentation where I linked it here. There must be a way to do max or minimum. And I just want the minimum because it's minimum 4. I don't know what's going to happen if we try to emit something 4. The minimum of two numbers. Minimum, 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 minimum. So many options. Min. Okay, let's just hope min is there. It's a minimum of 4 and power plus 1. And semicolon. Never forget the semicolon. Rotate is always going to be 0 for rotation. They made it really simple for us in this version. I was glad because when I was reading this, I thought this is quite the jump from the previous ones. We'll get to that other one, I guess, and let's see what happens. I guess we want to go back to our graphic. Where are you? Oh, we got errors. Min. Use standard comp min. Okay, let's try that. Standard comp min. Something new in Rust. Let's try that. Well, the pretty graphics are gone. Now we have other graphics. Okay, I missed a colon. Let's try again. Straight landing to Mars. Now what? Unused map cast not used. Warning, warning, unused variable I, unused variable land, unused. I wish the warnings weren't in red. I wish they were just in yellow, because we apparently have lots of them. Power, okay, yeah. This makes sense because they said let power, and I'm just going to make it a variable instead. We don't need to persist this much longer, so we'll do it that way. I wonder if there's a keystroke for trying again. I can't find it. Is it going to try something this time? Is it going to do something? Okay, I'm falling. Falling very slowly. Alright, let's make this bigger. Am I going to make it? There's a time limit here, I think. Alright, we're just going to let go of the speed. I think I'm almost done. I can invoke the speed controls, but I think I'll make it. We're going to make it? We're going to make it? Hey, we made it! Yay! And there's something picking us up there. There's probably a faster way to do it involving some math, but you know what? That's not the purpose we have right now. We're going to save that for the complicated tests, because I think it's just going to give us 100% anyways, so my incentive to make it faster at this point is not relevant. I imagine in the harder tests, it will actually make it difficult that I have to conserve fuel or something. I can't just go slow the whole time. But let's just go with this for now. Did we get 100%, or is there something we didn't have? So it's happy with that. Good. Hey, let's tweet this. Let's just do this live now. Come join us. I don't actually have a link there, but let's just tweet it anyways. Let's see what happens. Okay, now, and you gotta give it 2. This is the fun thing is, how do you even get 50% of this puzzle? I don't know. Let's just keep going to the next one. What do we have? Again, let's clear the achievements. And we go to the next practice. And we're going to go to another easy one. And again, the reason I'm doing the easy ones is because until I can actually be familiar with Rust, I don't want to jump it up too hard. I don't want to be stuck on like a medium or a hard one just because I don't know the Rust for it. So let's play ASCII art. Sounds like the graphics might be, you know, a little bit more limited on ASCII art, but we're going to do it anyways. And oh, there's a story here. Do you feel you are an artist at heart? Unfortunately, you are a programmer. Hey, that's not very nice. That's absolutely not nice to say that programmers can't be artists at heart. Half of them I know are artists. That's why we do it. I'm going to send this off to the demo scene. If any demo scene guys are watching this, please copy this and send this to @CodingGame and tell them you don't like this story, because that's not very nice. And so this puzzle, we're going to transform strings of characters into ASCII art. That makes sense. Let's ignore the scene. And what do we have to do? Now, traditionally you'd approach this problem by having some kind of font map in memory for every character. You'd have a matrix of characters and you just look it up. And it generally, this ASCII base only works when you have, as it says, ASCII. If you had to do this in Unicode, you'd have a bit of an issue. You could do it. You'd have to break out your like free type or something and then render the things as you have them. And I've actually done that before, but I'm guessing this is going to be a little bit easier. And okay, so we have game input. Yeah, we know what we have to do. Line 1, the lit L of a letter represented in ASCII art. All letters are the same width. Okay. The height H of a letter represented in ASCII, all letters are the same width. So we have a monospace font. That makes it easier. The line of text T composed of n ASCII characters. Okay, good. Line T, we read it. And following lines, the string of characters in represented in ASCII art. Okay, got it. So we have that. Does it actually load it in for us? H is use size, row equals. It's not saving it anywhere for us. And this is going to be our first bit of new. I think this will actually be new Rust to learn, because we made a fixed vector before. Now we have to learn how to create a dynamic vector. So it's going to be a let something, let mut. Let mut, and how do we do this? We have a vector. I think these are called vec. And we're going to do a vec new. This is weird. Why is the type over on the left-hand side, not on the right-hand side? You'd think that you would need to specify it in the new. Okay. And this is also a bit weird when you have a continuous growable type, and yet they use let, which means it's not mutable. So I'm not sure about that. We're going to put it let mutable anyways. And this is going to be the hardest part of this challenging, is figuring out how to use these arrays. So we have the letters and this is a vec of, is this string? Okay, thank you LKSF. I would assume too it has to be mut, and that's why it finds weird that edA-qa doesn't start with that. Now I'm going to put a string in there, and each one of these letters is a string, and I think that's all we need to do is get that. And we'll see if the syntax works. Vec new. And for each row, we're going to do a letters dot push, add, push. Push sounds good. And we're going to hope that that's the right type. And I'm just going to test it first. Okay, so we do want a heap allocated one here, string or okay. Which one do I want? Do I want a string or an answer? These are, we're not going to be modifying them. So let's see if this works. I'll just see what compile errors I get first. Okay, it appeared to compile, so we may be reading it correctly. Now let's figure out what we want. For each line, we have the line of text, and we're going to have to emit each line. So this thing is going to repeat in the lines. This sounds stupid. How do I do a for loop again? I don't actually think I've done a for loop. Can I put a vec? So the comment, can I put a vec of stir? Will that work? I don't know. But let's do a for loop. I gotta find a for loop. I need to do a for loop from 1 to n. I don't think we did that last time, or we did. Oh, there's one right above it. That's easy. For, okay, let's do it. For row in 0 dot dot h. For every row we have to do something. And let's say usize as well, because it needs to have a type. And for each row, we're going to have to iterate over the complete set of letters. And this is something I do notice. We have the string, we have, what do we need to output? The text T. Where is T? So something in T. So we need for C in, can I do T? Well, let's see what it gives us. I just like trying this way. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong programming language. Print, is print a thing? Let's just print C out. Print line. It's also probably, I'm going to guess that, and see what we get out of this here. Range syntax is experimental. I have, oh, there's only 2 dots. Okay, good to know. And we have another error. String standard marker sized on answer line 31. Okay, I think we have to do string here. Okay. Yeah, thank you, LKSF. That's, I was guessing too now, is that, well, I guess you're not guessing, you actually know. I need a dot dot for exclusive. Okay, now the thing is, how do I iterate the characters in a string? Whoa, something new for me. No, feel free, keep going for it. Remember, I know nothing about Rust. So if you guys know how to do that, because right now, this is what I'm seriously searching, is Rust iterate characters in string. Wonderful, huh? No, that's not what I want. How do I iterate character string by string? Chars. Chars? That sounds perfect. Let's assume that's character codes. Dot chars. And let's see what we get out of that so far. Okay. Found E. Expected. Got it. That's good. So we know what this is now. We now have E. Now, Rust is a very strict type language, so we're going to have to do some trickery here. What we want is we want the code for this E relative to A. Okay, so this is really, oops. Let code equal. Well, let's try the obvious first. And let's see as it whines at us that this is clearly wrong. We have to try by doing here. Yeah, I actually looked at it. Rust is UTF-8, but since they're dealing with ASCII, it's conveniently the exact same codes. So we shouldn't have to worry too much. And actually, if we do a relative to A, it wouldn't matter at all. But we have to convert the character codes first. So how do we get the character code for a character in UTF or in Rust? So I want the integer, I want the code point values for these values. And let's just do it Rust code point of character. Rust code point of character. Character. All right, has something. Is digit? No, I want code point. Is there a code point? Code point? No. What functions do we have here? A Unicode scalar value can always safely be cast to a U32. That sounds good enough to me. That would imply to me that I can do as U32 minus A as U32. It says it can be safely cast. Let's see if it's true. Found 4. This is correct. If it was looking for an E, A, B, C, D, E, 4th index, that's correct. So now we have to do the actual indexing magic. Now we're going to go back into these characters again. And what we want to do is not print the code. We want to print a substring. And we're going to say the first offset is, I'm going to say from, and this will be code times, what was the width of the text? L? Why on earth did they choose L for the width of the text? Whatever, and let 2 is going to be code times L plus 1. So this is this fragment of the row that we want, where we have the row, and what we want here is we're going to print a substring. These are strings. So if we look for string, there must be a substring function like substring, or let's see, slice. Any slice function. And does this work with string slice? Okay, no, slice is not what we want, I think. Substring, let's just search for substring. Well, that's a bit disconcerting when there's nothing referencing substring in the entire documentation. Okay, what do we want? Subster. Then I'm going to have to go to the internet search Rust substring. How to get a string of a string, substring of a string. That's what I want to know. I can slice any container. Okay, great. I guess a string is a container. And the slice syntax is this, M to N. Well, let's try it out. Can't slice strings. Okay, so how do we get a substring? But this says you can slice a substring. Or is that something else? Figure this out. Let me see if it accepts it first. That's an answer. Well, no, I put it. Is it really? Because the letters are a vex string up here, so it is a string type. It's not a stir type. It's not a mutable string or answer. That's an actual string type. So let's. Does that work? So, okay. In any case, what I have is I have letters. Yeah, this is the whole letters. I have letters and I want the row. Okay, that's what you meant. Yeah, okay, yeah. I've been reading about that, the difference between things stored in the program and in memory, and there's a difference there. So the question is, from right here, when I have whatever this string is, how do I get a substring? So the question is, whatever substring is from to 2, I want to print this out. Okay, and actually we probably want to put a space after it. So now we just need to know how to get a substring. No substrings, returns strings. Let's try this one. Okay, no, I don't see anything to get a substring yet. Well, let's look at the docs for string again. This is getting kind of weird. So we don't have this one, we have a global string. Don't care, I just want a substring, that should be fine. How do we get the substring of this? Don't care about that. It's new with capacity. Let's just look at the functions. Pop into bytes, remove, retain is empty. Split off. What does split off do? I don't want to do that. Splice. Okay. Okay. I got some syntax. Let's try that. Thank you. Powder down sys? I'll go with that. Let substring equals and letters row. We'll see if this works. From ... to. Let's see this. What's it? Unused macro, that's fine. Mismatch types, code times 1. Okay, can I do this? I saw that syntax somewhere. U32, no, it says L times L. L is a I32. So let's just convert these to I32s. Is it going to yell at me? You should be safe in Unicode as well. There's Unicode doesn't go up that high to get to the negatives. So it's complaining about that, and the letters it really doesn't like, but that could be because the indexes are totally wrong. Okay, so now we have something about the string is not satisfied. The trait bound cannot be indexed by a range. Okay, so I think it's complaining that we cannot. So it's clear this string cannot be indexed by range. So what if we put the and here? Does this actually change the way the code works? Nope. Didn't like that still. Alright, so still we don't have the substrict syntax. We have something here, and so let's just clarify. We have the row string here equals letters row, and we're trying to do this. We're trying to get a range here, but we don't know how to do it yet. We don't know how to get the substring range in Rust, and so we're going to keep looking. Powder down sys's way. There seems to be some ways to do this for a, what I guess they're static strings, but not the dynamic strings. Take. That sounds wonderful. Row string.skip from take to minus from. Alright, let's see what happens there. No, what's that now? We're at line 45. Oh, it helps if I use the right commands there. That wasn't even a Rust command. Okay. Skip not found. So what do we have? We don't, a string. A string doesn't have any useful functions on it. Okay, how can we convert a string to something useful? So there must be a way we can convert this into... Yeah, there is no skip here, though. Because I don't think I have an as string. Because I said, again, the vector is of type string up here. That's way up here. Can I zoom this in at all? No. Make it a little bit bigger. So this is apparently a string, and the error is indicating it is a string, type string. Aha! That sounds... So we're going to do like this row string dot chars. Now can we do the syntax from dot dot to? Or how does that work? We have an iterator and we want to collect it. I don't know the syntax here. It's probably something else. Cannot index into a value. Okay, I'm going to try that again. We'll try all these different ways. So let's subster. We'll try LKSF first. And string. We have a row string now. This is the letters row up here. Row string index from dot dot to. Let's try this first. And then we'll try powder down sys's approach. Index, index. No, not index. No, it's complaining about that. So LKSF, it does not allow me to do that. It does not allow me to say this approach here. So let's try the next approach as well. Apparently these ranges are not defined on strings. So we have row string. No, I don't, because remember, look at the line 45. I'm already extracting it from the vector. So letters row, I already get a string out. So it's a vector of string, and I've already pulled out the row. So I have a string at this point. It's no longer a vector of strings. That's why I pulled out row string here. And so for row string, I'm going to try the other approach now, but characters. Dot skip from dot take to minus from dot collect. We'll try this approach then. Expected use size found I32. I'm fine with that. That looks like it might run. Okay, let me go back and try that after. I want to see if this actually gets something that works as I use size. Can I split this onto 2 lines? Find out. As use size. Infer. Consider giving subster a type. What's the type of this? What's the purpose of inferred typing if it can't tell me what the type is? Type annotations. Anybody know what the type of this should be? Okay, that might work as well, but assuming this way, this is actually string type. Let's find out. Or a vector chart. Now I have other errors, so we might have gone collecting. Oh, collect, okay. All these comments you're going to have to look out later. Cannot move out of an index context. Alright, so this has to be the ampersand anyways. Okay, it expected something else. Alright, so the space here at the end, we'll deal with that in a second, but I think we have it. Found at, oh. Oh, what's this at the bottom? Leave me alone. Okay, so it looks like it works. I'd like to try these other things too, just so I can learn. First of all, I'm going to copy this bit. I need to copy it out into my cheat sheet because I'm going to have to figure this out later for sure. And then let's see if this collect method, I don't know what this syntax really means, but I'm guessing you mean I can do it without the type there then. No. Or you're saying, oh, I can collect a string. Is that what you're saying? Nope, nope, nope. I'm not sure what you meant, Nick, as. I'm going to go back to this approach. That appeared to work. And what other one do we have? As bytes. As bytes is the other option I'll try later. String as bytes. But I don't really want bytes. I really want to iterate this through as characters. So I don't know if that's the correct way, because there should be a way to iterate as characters. We can look it up. And let's see if we have that iterator up there. I'm going to go back and try edA-qa's idea again. He said if we have this subster, this should work. No, it's not liking that. It's just, there's just no way. It's just not liking us do the from syntax here. So I'm going to have to figure out what that is. And I'll go back to this one that works here this way. And we'll focus on this and finishing the problem now this way. So now we have an E. Great. And it didn't put a space here. And the question is, do we need spaces between the characters? If the answer is yes, then we're going to have to... The next test is most likely going to fail because the characters are going to be stuck together. Right? Okay, yeah, so we have the characters I think are stuck too close together now. Or we're just totally wrong. Okay, I'm gonna see what this does. I'm gonna copy a link at random. And why does that work for you? I don't actually understand the difference there then. That's something I have to look at, because that's should be precisely what we tried. We said, no, but look at line 45. That's what I have. Let row string equals reference letters row. I have that exact same syntax. We have a string vector, and we're taking the and vector of it. Or am I seeing that wrong? In line 45, we have actually an and there. We should be taking the reference. And so this should have been the same as yours. We have a vector of string. You have a mutable vector. And yours isn't string though, is it? What if I put vex string here? Does yours start failing as well? Nope. I don't know what the difference is. I can't see it right now. This looks the same in my eyes, but it's just not working. Right, because I have a vector of string, new, and push it. But okay, I'm going to move on for now. I'm going to come back, and I'm going to take offline, try to figure out what the difference is in the print line. But we're not even getting to the print line. The error is in the substring syntax. Or is it? Okay. I'm going to come back to that because I think it's important for me to figure that one out. And I can mention next time, but now I just want to solve the next part here, is that we want to be able to print out the rest of the characters for each of the characters, and... Oh, I think I have an idea. So what we need to do is that we need to say first... Does anybody know how to tell if this is the first index in the loop? Let mut first equals true. And if... no, that's not correct. Yeah. If not first, print... We're going to print a space out if it's not first, and then say first equals false. 48. So another slice here. Yeah, I'm moving on to this. So let's see what... Okay. So we're writing apparently the wrong characters now. Let's see what word we're supposed to be writing. And print line, print error. What do they call these things again? Print error. And what string do they want me to write? They want me to write H. No, T. What am I writing in the second case? And Manhattan. This is clearly not Manhattan. So we've done something wrong here. Let's emit each code. Print error. Code. and see if we have the right ones. We're within range. 12, 0, 13. That sounds like the right numbers. So it sounds like we have the right range. And we have the strings. The width of a letter. Now, this is really weird. I'm gonna print out here. I want to see what those things are. Not that there's spaces already in the line, because that would screw us up. Use of move value row. Oh my. Rush jewel things. I didn't mean to move it, so let's not move it. Okay. They already have spaces in them. So I don't need to put a space. Now this L, let's figure out what L is here. Manhattan T and L equals. Let's see what L actually equals. Not that it says 3 and it actually means to be 4. Equals 4. So we should be totally fine. So we don't need these spaces. So we have something wrong here. We don't need spaces. Okay, now I'm doing something weird. So row, letters and row, we get each row. And let's check the first one again though. First one is correct. So now what is our problem here? L equals 4 as we expect. That's Manhattan, that's fine. The letters, they look correct. L equals 4, these are all 4. That's why we can't recognize it, because the M and N looks really, really weird. So we don't need to print that out. We have that. And we don't need these extra spaces. They're already there, so I can get rid of this first stuff. We don't need to deal with that. We think we have the right substring, but it worked for E, but it doesn't work for... Actually, I'm printing with so many codes now. We have no idea if it works. Okay. MN. So it's gone too far. I have a feeling we have too many characters here. This is far more letters than there should be in Manhattan. Why do we have too many letters in here? So we have the string, we print it, then we do a print line. How many strings do we have? Let's do this. Print air. Or let's just put them in between braces. I want to see the actual substring. It's too long. Code. How can that be too long? So our substring is getting way more than it should. And it's a variable amount, which is really weird. So this 2 minus from is... Alright, we don't even need this. Let's just say we collect L, a fixed amount. I see it now. Let's go back. That was a stupid mistake there. 2 minus from. This is code plus 1 times L. And because we're moving very wrong, let's see if this works now. Yeah, that works now. Check this one again. Let's check the... What's this? There's upper and lowercase? Okay. Okay. So there must be an upper function. How do we do this? How do we convert something to upper string? Uppercase? Upper? Make ASCII uppercase. Why just ASCII? Is there something more? I mean, ASCII is going to be totally fine here, but I'd like to know if there's a uppercase, two uppercase, string two uppercase. We don't have a string, of course, anymore. Character. Two uppercase. Let's just try sticking it on the two string, uppercase, uppercase. Can I call this on the whole string? Is there a two uppercase here? There is. Wonderful. Okay. And there must be other garbage in here. Test Manhattan. Question mark in ASCII art. Okay, so what does that mean? So let's do mutable here now, because I want to change the code. If code is less than 0, or the code is less than, I can do a magic number here, greater than 26. Then we say code equals 26, because that's what they're saying over here is the question mark. Let's see if that's what our problem is here. But it shouldn't be. There's something weird here. We have something weird here. What string is it trying to give us? T. So our first ones work, but we don't see now Manhattan. Let's just do it right here, to uppercase. No. The ASCII characters don't need to be uppercase. It needs to be T. Our input string. What? Where.t? Oh, right there. Too many T's. Alright, that works fine. And the wacky symbols I think we took care of with this if statement. Let's see if we did. Nope. What do we have now? We were supposed to get something else. Question mark, question mark. 26 should have been the question mark. Would this range be wrong? I don't think so. We've got to figure out something was wrong with its range. Code equals 26. That should be fine. 26 is the length of the alphabet. Got to see what our error is here. Got to see what this... What is code? -1, that's fine. If code is less than 0, code should become 26. 26, 26, 26. Looks like we're outputting some weird stuff again. Let's get rid of the other ones. We got this done, got that done. Got that substring done. Should be okay. -1, those look correct. So if we put it afterwards, we should have a bunch of 26s. I just want to confirm this, not that I'm missing something obvious. 26, 26, 26, 26, good. So we comment that out. We actually have that 26s. And let's see what our string looks like in total. We're doing random stuff. Let's try the first ones again, not that we've broken something. Manhattan. Manhattan. Okay, I think we're getting junk in here. Is the code 26? Because there's 26 letters. That should be correct. But somehow we're getting the wrong characters here. Let's just say code equals always 26. To see if we're not getting something random. Question, question, dot, dot. Oh no. Their input here. They're doing a trim right on this line. So they're actually trimming off the characters of the question mark. So this final string isn't long enough. So let's see if we can get rid of the trimming first before we start expanding the string. Now that looks like question marks. Wow, I can't believe they did that. That's just mean. So now it works. That's really not very nice. That really means that the template code they gave us here is wrong. That we shouldn't have been trimming it. There was a trim there before, and that was actually stripping off the characters after the question mark. And I don't think we could have added them back in here, but that would be silly. Alright, so let's check this last one. Oh, there's actually different fonts. Great, that's wonderful. And it works with that one too. So we got it all. Let's play all the test cases again. And let's hope the next one has some graphics, not ASCII art. Because you know they say we're not artists, but you know I appreciate artistry sometimes. And okay, so let's submit this. We've got this done. A lot of the work here was figuring out how to get a substring in Rust, and thanks to some of the chats we figured that out. And I have to check offline why the other solutions didn't work. There's some typing here I don't understand. And I didn't like this for one reason, and the reason is because the code they did to load in those lines actually strips off the final characters, which are part of the solution, and it sends us in a wild goose chase about what's actually the issue there. Okay, so let's do the next code. Still 3 achievements, doesn't matter what we do. Tester Home Edition, I don't even know what that is. What achievement would that possibly be? Run your code 100 times in the IDE, wonderful. I don't want to hit the next level, that means I've run it 1,000 times. Okay, so let's go practice some more. We didn't hit level 5, unfortunately we didn't go up a level. Does Chuck Norris sound good? Or mime type? Strings. Strings. Trigonometry sounds good, but let's check if there's something else we can do today. I'm going to do all of them, but we only have 4 left in here. We have horse racing duels. Let's do horse racing duels. Well, let's do whatever one has graphics. Does this have graphics? I'm going to press back if it doesn't have graphics. No, there's no graphics. I want graphics. See, they've spoiled me. I had a few with graphics, now I want all with graphics. Let's see if Chuck Norris has graphics. Not even Chuck has graphics. Come on, give me the ones with graphics. There needs to be a link here. Defibrillators. No graphics, come on. Alright, last try. Whatever this one is, mime type. Doesn't sound like fun, doesn't sound like something with graphics. So, since I have no graphics, let's just do Chuck Norris. It says it's easy, but if we know the stories of Chuck Norris, it can't possibly be easy. It should be hard. It should be a hard one. Bit mask, bit shifts, ASCII table. This is going to be delightful. If Rust has C syntax, I'll be okay with it. If it doesn't, then I'm in trouble. Binary good, but unary is much better. Your program must encode a string into a series of zeros. Okay. Wonderful. Unfortunately, guys, there's no graphics in this one. Maybe we should go other ones. They totally lured us in with these graphics on the first episode. I mean, not me, the site did it. So unfortunately, I have another one that doesn't have any graphics. So we started the show with Mars Lander. We're going to do another one. Alright, binary with 0 and 1 is good, but binary with only 0 or almost is even better. Originally, this is a concept designed by Chuck Norris to send so-called unary messages. Write a program that takes an incoming message as input and displays as output the message using Chuck Norris's method. Here's the encoding principle. The input message consists of ASCII characters 7-bit. The encoded message consists of blocks of 0. A block is separated from another block by a space. 2 consecutive blocks are used to produce a series of the same value bits. Only one is 0. Huh? First block. If it is always 0 or 0, 0. If it is 0, then the series contains 1. If not, it contains 0. Second block. The number of 0 in this block is the number of bits in this series. Okay. I think I'm going to need an example of that. Let's take a simple example with a message which consists of only one character, capital C. C in binary is represented as blah blah blah, so with Chuck Norris's technique this gives 0, 0. The first series consists of only a single 1. The second series consists of 4 zeros. The third consists of 2 1s. Okay, what is this trying to say? So we have these bits, and it wants to know how many bits there are. These are actually the types of programs I hate in interviews, and people give these. It's one of those ones, realistically, how often you use type of bit shifting and counting bits. And this didn't become a matter of how well I know the bit shifting on Rust, but we started it, so let's go for it. And I think what it says, we have this pattern. It's a run-length compression, run-length encryption or compression. So we're going to have a 1, we're going to admit there's 1 1s, then there's 4 zeros, and then there's 2 1s. And this is why we have this sequence. The first 0 means it's a 1, the second 2 zeros means it's a 0, and then the following bit says how many of them there are. That should be the easy part I get. The difficult part is going to be in Rust figuring out what these bit sequences are. And okay, and it looks like we're starting from the high bits. It's very important, so the high bits here. So let's just read these things in as bytes and go from there. So what did we learn from last time? We learned for C in message.characters, we learned that the character can be encoded into ASCII directly that way. That code equals C. If their input is correct, I should be able to say as I8, actually U8. That'll give the perfect binary. Let's see if that compiles first. Okay, nothing, that makes sense. So now we have to come up with the Rust trickery. How do I tell which bits are in there? Can I tell what the high order bits are? Or should I just count them? Should I just be an idiot here and just count them? And let's do it that way. Let's pretend there's probably no functions in Rust. Who knows? There might not be. I think my colleague who does the Virtual Boy emulator, the Nintendo Virtual Boy emulator, would probably know a lot more about bits than I would. But let's just do that. So we're going to say the first bit, and this is ASCII. It's 7-bit. So let mut cbit, this is the current bit we're on, equals 7. And we're going to do, while cbit is greater than or equal to 0. And I'm not sure how to do this yet. I'm just going to do some debugging here first. So I'm used to the syntax. Let mask equals 1 cbit. I wonder if this helps. I wonder if this works. And if code and mask, I don't know the syntax. Let's find out. Print What should we print? Let's print, yeah, 1. Otherwise we print 0. I'm just quickly doing some debugging here. It's going to get an add in this, of course. 0. I just want to verify that this actually recreates the bit pattern. But it gets an error instead. What error do I get? Mismatched types. Okay, this is fine. Does not equal 0. Oh, I'm very glad that timed out on us. We should probably do a C-bit minus minus at the end. Does Rust have minus minus? We're going to find out. No, it doesn't. Minus. Okay, so this looks like 7-bit. Why did it start with 0? Alright, because we're doing it base 6. So there we go. Okay, so this gives us the bit sequence here, which is what we want, which is great. And what we have to track now is we have to say, for each group, which ones do we want? And how many of them do we want? So every time the group changes. And so what are we going to say the last one is? Let's just start with it as saying the let mut C bit and C value equals, and we're just going to do it this way. We're going to take the high one, is going to say code and 1 C bit. So we're going to do the first one out of line, and then C bit minus minus equals 1. So the first bit we're going to store directly in C val. And C count is 1. We already have 1 of these bits. And for each bit, we're going to check the new value. And for the new value, this is actually a Boolean. It's not equal 0. Let new value equals code and mask not equal 0. If nval equals the current value, so we have the same value as last time, we have the same bits, then we can do the C count plus equals 1. And the reason I'm not doing an else here, I'll explain in a second. If nval does not equal cval, then we have to emit the current one. So this is, we're going to say print, it's going to be space separated, so we have I don't know how to do ternary. Current val. If current val, then do we have then? Then we do 1 else 0. I thought I saw this somewhere. I don't know if this is going to work. Then we have to print out count. Then we say the new value equals the current value, and the current count equals 0. The bits go down. The reason I put this here is because if our bit is 0, we have to emit it anyways. Pretend it's different anyways. And it will have caught this loop up here as well, or cbit equals 0. And let's just do a quick test here. Print of the count. C count. And we can verify if we have at least the right logic so far. Print, 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 print. Where am I finding this? Line 42? Because I forgot a semicolon. Okay. Unused macro definition, unused macro, fine. Unnecessary parentheses, I don't care. 36, unnecessary parentheses, fine, I don't care. We'll get rid of it. We don't want unnecessary code, especially if the compiler is telling us that. And nval, where's our actual error? Reassign immutable nval, got it. It's because down here, this is a great thing. I mean, this is what I liked about statically typed languages, is I actually did the assignment in the wrong direction here. It should be cval equals nval. So if I were using a dynamically typed language like JavaScript, it absolutely would not have caught that. And so this is one of the reasons that I like static and I like things that have constant types as well. Oh, jeez. Okay. So this makes sense. Our output so far makes sense. We just have to encode it. We have 1, 1, 3 zeros, and then 1, 1 again. But our count is off by 1. Wonderfully. And because the count has to reset to 1 because we have 1 of whatever it is. And now we're going to pretend, because we don't know Rust, so we don't actually have to pretend, we're going to do for I in, what was the range again? 0 dot C count. Let's see if somebody out there shudders because of this. 0. We're going to print a 0 for each one of them. And let's see if we actually solve this. Uh-oh, we're pretty close. Expected. Oh, we've got it wrong. Yeah, sorry about this. It has to be a 0 for a 1, and a 0, 0 for a 0. It's getting harder and harder to debug. And I'm off by a bit. Okay, then we have to print another space. I wonder if it's going to get complaining that we have space at the end. Okay, I have a space at the end, of course. How do I tell if this is the last character or not? Anybody know if I have C in message charge to tell if this is the last character or not? Oh, let's just do it the other way. Let first equals true and just do it right here. If first, if not first, then we say we print a space out. Is that correct? I think so. First equals false. No, that's wrong. Okay. Fine, whatever. We'll do it a different way. Anybody know how to build a string in Rust? Something like this. Let mut output string. Can I just start string new? How do I attach stuff to strings? So if cval, then we're going to do output plus equals this work, then 0. Now why am I doing it this way? I already have the if statement. We can do it directly. Plus equals if cval. Output plus equals 0. Output plus equals space, to space it out. At the very end, we're going to print it, and then we're going to figure out how to strip that final space. Just take the cheap way. We just strip it off instead. Plus. Is that not what I'm doing? Plus equals, or do I have to do a plus? Okay, so let's see if we can do push on it then. So you're saying this won't compile? I'd like to verify myself. At this point, I really do believe you. And I made a mistake. But it ran, so it might have worked. But, because we missed the space here, let's put the spaces here. Okay, so now we have to trim. I recall seeing that we had a trim in here somewhere. I recall seeing it right up there, right in the function line 23. Let's see if it works here. Yay! We have it working! This has got to be setting some speed record in the wrong direction for how much it takes to encode this protocol. But let's see the next one, message CC. Now we got something wrong. because there has to be a space between the words. But wait. Oh no. When we have two characters, it encodes it as one single long string. So now I understand. That's the reason why it doesn't work. So we're going to make a function. This is the first one I've actually done in Rust. We're going to make a function, emit, and I don't know how to write a function. I wanted to take the value and the count. I don't imagine this is like automatically typed, is it? And we're going to take all this stuff down here, this bit here, okay, we're just making a new string here. Efficiency is not a big concern of mine at the moment. Or name type. This is a bool. Count is a I32, I something or other, what do we call it? Okay, let's just say I32. Well, let's try this. Let's pass the string by reference instead. This has to be output. And somebody says this is probably something like an AND string. Is that correct? So we don't have a return value that we could directly add to the output. Or this is a mort-ora-y string or something like that. And let's see if we can actually do that. Emit. And this will be down here. We have emit and mut string. String though, not stir, because I have a dynamic vector, right? String is the non-dynamic one. So cval is what I want, ccount is what I want, and where's my string output is what I want. And I think I have to say I'm taking the output of that there. And I can get rid of this stuff. And let's see the first character, if we get this again. It's probably going to complain. Cannot find cval. Find val count. Yeah, okay, so string is what I want. That's the dynamic one. Hey guys, I would like to see the rest of the error here. Okay, so I can't add it directly, so how can I make this the correct reference to the mutable string? I want to add to it as though this were inline. I'm not sure there. Anybody know the correct way to pass this then? Because on mut string is apparently not correct. On type mut standard string. Or if I pass a mutable string, will this take a copy of it? Or how does the references work in Rust? Will it take a copy, or is this actually going to be a reference? You think you do want string? Okay, I can try it. And mutster. Well, it doesn't like assigning to that either. Doesn't want that either. So let's see if I just say mut string. I don't know how this is probably going to say okay, but I'm probably going to have the wrong string. Output. So, okay, that's what I got. How can I make it Or what's the equivalent of a C++ pass by reference here? If I want this string to actually pass by reference, or is it not allowed? Should I actually just be doing an output in this string and just be adding outside of it? I mean, it's probably the more correct thing to do anyways. You know, and what string was giving me that problem, that it won't, plus equals isn't defined on what string. See, I can't do the plus equals on it. And so I'm going to do it the other way, and I'll look that one up as well. How do I dereference? What's a dereference? Really? Okay. That works. Looks like C. I can deal with that. Expected mutable reference. That's fine. Put the and back there. Types differ in mutability. No, they don't. Okay, now it's complaining about emit. Types differ in mutability. I got that far, so why doesn't it accept this? Alright, let's just forget about it. Let's put the other way instead. Let's just return a string. It's technically safer anyway. Yeah, what would I want to pass? I don't want a mutable reference. Oh, really? It's getting confusing. It worked. Okay. This is only half of my battle. So else, I can change this now to be, I don't need the end bit, because what we have to do is we have to fail over end val is not equal to that, then we just continue. We're going to emit it and reset it. And what we have to do on the final count, if C count's always going to be greater than 0 now, isn't it? So we can just do emit cval C count and mut output. And now these values are going to persist. Cval and C count. Well, this is annoying. How do we get the cval? It has to be the initial code. Alright, well, let's make one. In case we have to have C bits fine, C count. Somehow these have to be outside of there. But the first character is, we need to get the first character from inside the loop, so let's do mut first again. Equals true. If first, then we'll set up cval the first time. Cval equals that variable, otherwise we'll start at 0. So the first time through the loop. And this will let us carry over to the other end of the loop. Okay, got an error. Mismatch types, expected integral variable, cval, false. Okay, now let's see if the second one works. That was the main point. And, oh, we're so close. What did we do wrong? What did we do wrong? Okay, so at the end of the first character, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, and then 0, 0, 0. And there's supposed to be 3 1s here. How did we not count 3 1s? We started the C. Okay, this makes perfect sense because this C bit, we've consumed it. We only do that on the first time through. So now we check it again, we don't consume it. And we succeeded. We got this ridiculous output format and probably a very expensive way to calculate it. We've got this mutable string here, which I still don't quite understand the calling convention, but okay, I can deal with that. Character percentage, let's see what it does. It's fast, and it sends a message. Anybody care to see what that message is, or we'll just leave it in the history and we'll forget about it and we'll submit this. No graphics, unfortunately. I'm assuming that does it again. I'm not going to rate it. Good, keep coding. We've reached a new level, 3 more achievements, and now I'm a Rust lover, if you saw that. That's wonderful. It doesn't analyze my commentary, apparently, but we got Rust lover, we got these things. Okay, and some things I want to check in there, and I'm really unfortunate that these classic puzzles, there are no more graphics to them. This is no fun. You only allowed 1 mutable reference out at a time. You mean in the arguments? I couldn't have a second argument? So I couldn't have a second argument that has an out in it. I mean, fine. I'm gonna look that one up. I'm gonna see what exactly I'm doing there, because I kind of threw it there. No for any. Okay. Got it. I'll look it up a bit more, understand, and so I've been going for a while. There's no more graphics. We started with the graphics today, and it's unfortunate there's no more graphics. I think I'm going to call it a day, and if I get a chance, I'll come back tomorrow night. I'm not positive, and I hope you enjoyed it again today. I learned a little bit more of Rust. I'm going to have to do a bit more. Some of the string stuff I'm going to have to feed up on. I'm not entirely happy with what we do here. This seems wrong somehow, and we're agreed that this would look nice, this row here, but it wasn't working. I had to figure that out why, because this looks really ridiculous to get the substring, and maybe it's the correct way, maybe not. I can look offline, and otherwise we did 2 tests, 3 tests, 2 tests at least. We got to the next level, we did it. Only one of them had graphics, the Mars lander. Tomorrow, unfortunately, looks like if we do it, none of these new ones have graphics. So we might have to race through them in the boring format, or we might have to go to a harder puzzle. Or I'll look in advance for ones that actually have graphics. So we can at least do one with graphics, even if it is the harder one, and we can do one classic and then one with graphics. Okay, that's good to know. Okay, SF, I mean, no, it's not good to know that the strings are painful. If there's a few RFCs looking at it, making it easier. I have the exact same thing in Leaf right now. I don't even have a string type, and I can understand why there's this dichotomy between the types, because I'm facing similar issues in Leaf, that you want to have this built-in array type, and you want it to be different than the string library type. But with all these people coming from places like Python and JavaScript, the strings are just there and they're super easy. It's hard to reconcile those two needs, but there very clearly are 2 different needs. So I won't judge Rust just on that just yet, because if this is a library issue and there's a string, there's absolutely no reason you couldn't just put on a substring function to the string and basically solve it, or I guess add that range support to it. It doesn't sound like there's any fundamental limitation here. It just looks like it's just maybe a few missing features out of the way, and I can totally understand that. And I just like to make sure I'm using it correct first. Okay. And so I hope you enjoyed the show. I mean, I'm happy you guys tuned in. I'm happy for the help, and I hope you enjoy it. And I just I didn't type it wrong. Okay, but I'm going to keep going on. And if I get a chance, I'll do it again tomorrow. If not, sometime maybe Sunday or Monday, but I'm going to do these generally in the evening. I'll do generally in the evening whenever I have a chance. They're always going to be generally quite late, and we'll keep going over the code, and we'll keep doing more exercises. I assume people have a preference for the graphics, but I guess they make a difference. And otherwise, make sure you subscribe to my stream. You can follow me on Twitter, and I'll upload this to YouTube after. And if you have a particular item in coding game you want me to solve, then just let me know, and we can do that one next time as well. Otherwise, I thank you very much for watching. I thank you for the chatter, and it's been very helpful. I've learned a lot about this, and you guys are great. You're definitely giving help to me. I wouldn't have made it through that one otherwise. I would have been stuck reading the document file, so thank you very much again for the help. And I'll look at all your suggestions for strings and I'll figure out what I did wrong and get that working. So thank you very much, and until next episode, enjoy Rust. Thank you.